Okay, so it is 7 on the dot, if I am correct, and yes, it is, and I think we should begin, because that's what we said. That's when we said we were going to start, was at 7. If not, Bruce will beat me up. There are 2 websites that we are using, and I'm going to say the majority. I'm sure that there are some that are not, but I'm going to say that the majority of us are using either Easy Speak or we are using FreeToastHost. Both of them have their strengths and their weaknesses. But one of the strengths of FreeToastHost is the speed in which you can actually set this up. The learning curve is not as great as it is with Easy Speak. The benefits are also different. Yes, with Easy Speak, once you set the thing up, it can almost run by itself if you wish it to, as opposed to FreeToastHost, which does need some minor care, say every couple of weeks or so, depending on how you set up your agenda. So I said it's going to take us about an hour to set this thing up. And so I want to get right into that right now. Oh, first of all, when you want to do this, there is a you have to give your name, your website, your club number to the support.freetoasthost.org. And right now they seem to be having some technical difficulties the last time that I tried to get to them. But you drop that in, and within about 4 hours, they come back and they actually give you a email, a link that you can go to that allows you to then bring up your site. So when you do that, your site will look something like this. And this, by the way, I've not touched this. I left this raw so that you can actually see what it actually looks like. I think it's, I think it's this one. Okay, can you see what's on my screen? Okay. All right, that is what it looks like right out of the box. And I haven't done anything to this except for log into it. So you see right there, half the battle is over. I mean, you already got yourself a free image on there. It already has a couple of some stuff that it says there, but you have to change. But at least, you already got everything. You got the, where you put your club name, and then on the side, you have all of your links and stuff which you need to prepare. But it's all of a sudden you realize that this is plug and play. And I think that makes it so much better. And I think it makes it so much easier for us to comprehend what you're supposed to do with this thing, as opposed to being so overwhelmed by it that you don't know where to begin. And so where do we begin? I think that we should begin on the left-hand side. And I'm going to try to break this down into pieces so that it's kind of easier for us to hold on to this. Oh, by the way, this is being recorded. So when this is all said and done, by tomorrow morning, there will be a link that I'm going to send to you guys so that you actually have the recording and you can play it back fast forward it, whatever you want to do with it. And then you will have notes that I'm going to send to you by the end of this week. You will have the notes that accompany the video. So first part, if you look on the left-hand side, this part right here is the part called, it's under main menu. So all of these links, it doesn't matter who you are, you're able to enter these links because, well, you're not a member, okay? So as a non-member, you are restricted to being able to see and do a lot of things. But here you're able to see, and you have some that are grayed out, but you have to put information in them first, like the meeting information directions, and also some information about contacts. Who can you contact within the club? And when we get to that part about filling that stuff in, you'll notice that when we come back to the main page, which is this one, those links will have illuminated. Second is the members only page. And if you notice, this is, none of these are allowed, the cursor doesn't turn into the little pointer, the hand thing. So that means that I can't get into these because I'm not a member. So I am more or less pushed out. Notice that the Toastmasters podcast, now if I want to click on the podcast and actually listen to that, I can do that. Also, you have here a small ad, Make a World of Difference, which is our conference, which is over. But because of the fact that I'm going to click on this one because I want you to see that it's not really dead, right? Because it's watch on demand now. So if you wish to actually check out the free stuff or pay to be able to see everything, you do have that option. So it's not just a junk link there to act as filler. They actually do work. So that, oh yes, and then there is the login section right here. So to log in, you have two choices. One, to log in as a member, or two, to log in as the administrator. And based on whatever your role is, that determines which avenue you will take. The last section on the first page is this side. Now, this is one of the differences in Easy Speak versus FreeToastHost, or you may hear me say FTH, which means FreeToastHost. This side over here, where the lady is standing at the podium, and all the way down, this side is more or less your website. So this is where you can put information about your club, the next meeting, if you're having a special event, anything that you want to put out to the public, this is the area that you can do that. Now, I know that in some cases you can do that with Easy Speak, but I find Easy Speak to be more of a website that's built in order to help us as we move forward through pathways. And that's it. It really doesn't have like a front page that you can use to promote your club, because there's so many other things that are going on that page. It's very difficult to focus in on just the area that you want people to see. This one, you have that point. That's that ease of use. And then they have these panels, which I'm going to call panels, and you can actually click on them. And if you notice, there are videos underneath there that people can watch. Do not need to be a Toastmaster, transform yourself. These are all there to be or not to be. You can definitely turn these all off if you wish not to have these on, or not. Okay, I'll click on one more. And you see that lady again. All right, so this makes up the page one. This is every time you bring up this FreeToastHost guide, this is what comes up every time. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
On this main page, can we switch, or can the user switch between languages?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Because we're going to be doing English and French.
No, as far, I mean, I've been using this for a while, and I've never seen an option there that says, okay, you can turn, if I click this switch, then there's a French version that will emerge. That I've never seen, but you know what? I'm also going to write that down so that I can send that to the developers to find out whether or not that can be done. Very good question. And in fact, as much as I've been using this, no one has ever asked that question. So I love this, because this is how I get to learn about the products that we use.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think I'm pretty sure I had to have your email address, because you had to have registered for this. And so this way, now that you have registered, I will definitely get back to you on that. All righty, so I'm going to, since I am the site administrator, or I will be in a second, I'm going to log in. Now you notice I clicked on log as site admin, and the first thing that popped up is the privacy policy. So you have to let this piece of software know if you're going to be if you're going to allow FreeToastHost to do its thing. And if it's going to do its thing, it needs to be able to use cookies. So I also always agree to that. So now I'm going to give it my password. If I can just find it. And the nice thing about this is that the fact that when this is all said and done, this site will just kind of evaporate, because they know what I'm using this for. They know it's just a demo. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all of you up on this, so that if you want, because you have 90 days to kind of like play with this thing. And that way you guys get to do just that, get to play with this. Okay, so it looks like nothing's changed. And there hasn't, because I really haven't done anything. First things first is you want to make sure that your group is comfortable. You want to make sure that people know where you are, or at least the Zoom link, or however you want to call it, connection information, meeting connection information, is arranged so that people can get to it, and the contact us information. This is when it gets to be a little, I would say, fun. You see, what we're going to do is we're going to launch the admin console. I don't want anyone to be freaked out by this, or feeling that it's a lot of tabs and things here. But I just want you to keep this, I guess it's the right word is analogy at hand. We have these things, right? These phones. How many things can you do on these things? Hundreds, right? So hundreds, literally hundreds of things that you can do on this phone. How many of those things do you actually use on this? I don't know about you, but for me, it's about 5. You know, answer the phone. One of them, the most common one is the phone rings, I answer it. That's about, you know, that's one utility. And then maybe text is another one, a receiving text, that's 3, and maybe a couple of other ones. But the other 100 and some odd attributes or tools that are in this phone, you don't use them. The same applies here with FreeToastHost. They have a whole lot of bells and whistles in there, but I don't think you get to use many of them. So we're going to start with basic settings. And this is basic settings. So first off, we want to change this, our club name, right? Because when we first came into it, it came up with Toastmasters Club and then the club number. Oh, by the way, this is a phony club number, but this is what it comes up with. So what we're going to call this club now is the we're going to call this the Good Time Toastmasters. That's what we're gonna name it. Now here you can give it a description about your club. Maybe there's something that would make your club different than any other club, or something that you guys do at your club that you want everybody to know that this is what you do. So what am I going to put in there? Good time. Because that's what we do. We have good times. Okay, so now keywords. This is where you put in keywords that you want the search engines to be able to pick up on. So you may use keywords like the name of your club, Toastmasters, you know, Toastmasters, speakers, or anything that relates to public speaking. You may want to use any of those as keywords here, because those keywords are what will be used by the search engines and people when they're looking for you.
Elton?
Yes.
Would it be possible, or would it be a good idea to put in the day of the week that the club is meeting? Is that a possible keyword?
That is possible, and okay. you can definitely do that. It's up to you. And I also want to say that you can play with these, because if you feel that, okay, I put in good times, and whatever reason, obviously people are not looking for a good time, so that's not working. So you would take that one out and try something else. And I want you not to be afraid to do that, because in other software packages that we use, for an example, Meetup is kind of like the same way. You put what you want to say, but you have to keep tweaking it in order to get to the individuals that you wish. Whatever language that you use that's going to resonate with the public the most. The same is here. So what we can do is I can put in here a website alias. So I'm going to say good times. And so now what it should say when we save this, and when we look at up here, it should come back now and say goodtimestoastmastersclubs.org. Because nobody's going to remember this 999-145-1119. It's just not going to work. So you need to be able to put something in there that is going to be marketable and something that people will remember. So in this case, because we're using, our club name is Good Times, then we want it to be Good Times. So it'll be Good Times goodtimes.toastmastersclubs.org. If you happen to have a custom, you can buy, you can go to GoDaddy and just buy a custom URL, which is this link, and you can just pay, I think it's like $20 a year or something, $40 a year, and you can just plop it in here. And then that way, whatever the website paid location is, when you type it in here, at this point right here, it's going to take you to your website. Okay, what other thing? Oh yeah, so time zone. This is really, really important because you want people to be able to find you. And when you're sending information out, you want it to be based on wherever you are on the planet. And I don't think there's anywhere that's not in this thing, because they've got literally hundreds of cities, countries that are located in here. And so I don't think that you'll have any problem with that. You can use, you can go with time format, whether it's 24 or 12. You can determine what the date format's going to be. That's up to your choice. And then for the preferred long date format with the actual, using the word in this case, or if you want to say Thursday, September 2nd, or you want to just use the 9-2, which will be more of an American way of doing it, or any of the other dates that are formats that are under it. Okay, so I'm gonna save this, and we'll never get back into this site again. All right, so now I'm not going to get too much into appearance, but within appearance, you can set how you want the colors of your site to look. Remember when we saw the panel, those panel things down at the bottom, those blue things, and I kept clicking on them and they kept opening up? This is where you can actually turn all of that stuff off. Me personally, turn them, I don't like them. You can't update them. To me, they don't move me. Let's just put it like that. So I just more or less just click on these to turn these all off. It just allows you to actually put information that is directly related to your club in that space, as opposed to these panels. So we didn't change anything here. Now this is the one that you're probably going to work with the most. And this is the home page. Now, I don't know if anyone here is, have ever been like a web page designer or built a web page. You know that your very first page is the home page, right? So this is the home page, what we just clicked on. And remember that lady? There she is again, again. And she was on the very first page that we saw, which is the home page. Now, you can take this, if you don't like her or this picture, you can take her off and you can put whatever picture that you wish in her place. There is also text that can be placed at right underneath her. As you can see, we had that short little paragraph there. You can just wipe that out and then put whatever information you want there. And this is very much like a word processor. You can just type in whatever information that you wish in here, save it down. See where save is right there? So, and just save it, and then when you bring up your page, it will be locked in for display when individuals are come to your website. So what kind of things do you think we should put on this page? Don't be shy. Whatever you say, it can't be wrong. And even if it was wrong, no one here is going to tell.
How about a recent photo of actual members of the club?
Hey, there you go. So that people can see your smiling faces, so that when they connect to your meeting, the people will be, well, and I'll say this in quotes, familiar, because these will be people that they've seen. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw Bruce's picture before. So yeah, so obviously these are real people that are attending this club. This isn't fake.
Even a screenshot photo of a Zoom call of the club would work.
Perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. A lot of clubs do that. They just take a picture of who was there at the meeting, and boom, next day you see it's up on their website, on their main page. And it's okay, because you're basically telling a story. You're telling people that you are connecting via Zoom. And that in itself can be very attractive. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm still slightly freaked out about this whole COVID-19 thing. And I'm not too interested in terms of, going to meet people. I don't care if I have my mask. I am fully vaccinated, but I'm much happier at home, where I don't have to deal with anybody else's germs or having to be freaked out about. So this way people can see, oh, look, they're meeting by Zoom. So, all I need to do is just connect to them via the internet, and I can be a part of that meeting. Hey, there's a lot of things else that you can put on there. If you say, like, if you also were having a club open house for that, you may want to put your open house information on this page. Or if you were having some type of local contest in your club, or a speech-a-thon, or anything speechcraft that you want to announce, this will be a place where you can announce to the world what your club is doing. This is one of those. This is the place where you want to put your meeting information and directions. All right, so right now we don't have much in the way of directions because we're just Zooming it, right? For the most part, right now. Most clubs are still Zooming it. Yes, I know there are a few clubs out there that are kind of sort of like a meeting, doing outdoor meetings. They're trying to keep their clubs together, so they're thinking of creative ways of doing it. So you may want to just put in here that you're having Zoom meetings. And then underneath this is where you would have your Zoom link. And then that would be basically it. You could put, oh yes, by the way, you could also put if you have a club telephone number that you can use, you could put an individual's email address if you wish, even though there are other places where you can do such. And I'm going to show you that. I think that comes up next. So I'm going to save this and hope that'll be enough to. There are social links. So if your club happens to have a FreeToastHost, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Flickr, Google Plus, or a Meetup link, you can actually add them in here. And it's really great because that means that now you have, now you've turned this website into an octopus, right? Because you remember, you have a Facebook page, you got a Twitter page, you've got all of these pages, and they're all now pulled into this website by this one page. And I'll show you where they come. I'll show you where they come up on the main site. Okay, I'm going to skip these two because it's not really important, and well, they are important, but not right now. This page is extremely important because this is the administrator information, and the most two links on this page that are important is the password. So if you happen to, which I'm sure you would because they send it to you in an email, so you would have that. But when you are ready and when you need to change that password, you would come to the administration info tab and actually change it right here. So this is where you would actually put the new word or combination of alphanumeric characters here and in here in order to change it. And if you notice, it tells you the types of special characters that you have to use. 10 characters in length, and you have to use both numbers and letters, and you also may contain any of the following special characters. And once you put those in there, you save it. That is your new password. So what happens if you forget your password? I mean, truly, you forget it. You'll have to go back now to support.freetoasthost.org and say, I forgot my password. Here is my club number, and there you go. And at that point, you would be able to get them to give you a new password so that you're able to get into your site. I will show you later another way of doing this. So I'm going to close. Did I change anything? No. And that's all I want to show on this, because these other things that I'm missing, I'm hopping over, are not important in terms of setting up the website. Yeah, we know. So remember, we had changed that by when we added that good times in on the first page. So it's now going to be good times at toastmastersclubs.org. And I'm saying, yeah, that's who we are. And if you notice, it's already changed it from that numeric identification code to our alpha code, which is good times. That's much friendlier. And look, we also, while we were there, we changed the name. It's moving that stupid 09, whatever that was. We threw that out, and now it actually reads Good Time Toastmasters. So you see, even though we've not set up much or done much to this, we've already kind of set up home. Right?
Question, Elton.
Yes. Yes.
At the beginning of the presentation, you verbally mentioned an email address that we would need to reach out to FreeToastHost. And then you also just mentioned the support thing. Would it be possible for you to put those two email addresses into the chat for us?
Sure. I think I can do that.
I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
Okay, so this guy, you know this is going to cost you, right?
Everything I do costs me money.
Never mind.
Oh, that's true. Sorry. I should, yeah. I got to watch the audience on that one.
Yes.
It never occurred to me.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Okay, so now, oh, I'm trying to, oh my God. Forgive me, people. It has been one, oh, here we go. One long day.
I did a screenshot of your slides, so I put it into my file here. That's good.
Oh, so in other words, you already have it. Well, what about everybody else? They don't have it either.
I know they don't, but if you go back to it, they could do a screenshot, or if you can copy and paste into the chat, that'd be great too.
Okay, so here's one. And that's for support. And that goes for anything you can think of. They also, once you go to this site, you're also allowed to join. And when you join, it's like one huge help center online. And so you get to ask questions. You can actually do searches on all of the hundreds, thousands of inquiries that have already been made on the site. And once you, so you can find the answer or you can ask the question. But whatever you need, want, or desire, this is the link that you want to use in order to get it done. And this link is for documentation. Documentation, I think, is pretty good. If for any additional information that you're looking for, YouTube is a perfect place to look for that. All you need to do is just type in your question and a video will pop up. I can almost guarantee that a video will pop up and then you'll be able to get that whatever information you want. It will be shown to you. I don't know about you, but I prefer, I remember growing up when I was a kid, I really had a thing for books with pictures in them. If they didn't have pictures in the books, I really didn't care for them. So with this documentation, it does come with a lot of illustrations, and then what you don't find within the FreeToastHost site, you can definitely find it in over on YouTube. Next part, which is extremely important, is the I'll hit that last, is the meeting agendas. Okay, so if you notice, I can't get in that. So I'm going to try to, oh, that wasn't nice. No. Got kicked out. I'm afraid that, okay. So now we're back in, and we should be now able to get to the meeting agenda. Because this is the other important piece to this puzzle is the agenda. And if you notice, we did not lose that change. Good times Toastmasters. It left, it's there. Now you notice we don't have any information whatsoever under this because yes, you have to kind of like create your agenda, at least the first one on your own. Yes, that's correct.
But it looks like they might have templates for us to use. Says view another agenda or list all agendas. Is that possible that there's templates available?
Not here.
Okay.
Because this here is list. This is saying, okay, list out all the agendas. Here, when you actually say you want to do your agendas, you can create a default of how many agendas you wish to see. And so you may say you want to see only 8 agendas. And if you meet, once a week, then that would mean that you would see 2 months worth of agendas. And then they drop off as the following week comes in there. But then if you want to list all of them, you can just click on this and then all of the agendas you would have them all available under here. I guess maybe I should start at the top. All right, so this is really interesting because this little email thing, when you have created your agendas, you can email them to people and say, here is our meeting agenda for next week. And it allows you, the person who receives it, to actually select any of the role that they wish to take on. And it automatically appears back here on the main agenda. So this is one way of making sure that people are informed with what's going on and given the option to select what role they wish to take on. Also, when you are the administrator, you can create as many agendas that you wish into the future. And people can come here who are members and actually select from here where it says view another agenda to actually select another one, say two weeks in the future, and select a role. And they don't need anybody to help them do this. This is something that they can do by themselves, and it's been selected. And once it's selected, then on that agenda, everyone, when they do get around to seeing that one, you'll see that someone has already taken the role of maybe, let's say, Brian wants to be the Toastmaster. And so he selected the one to be a Toastmaster 2 weeks from today. Well, someone else wants to be Toastmaster. Well, that's just too bad because he's, first come, first serve. But you get to actually see that. Printing the agenda. Meeting reports. Now, this is kind of, I don't know if we're going to see any of these, but because we don't have anything in here, but you can actually see the meeting reports for individuals when who's attended and who has not attended based on the start date, or if you wish to want to see all of them. I don't use this, but this is like a sign up sheet, and you would only use that, I think, if you were in a brick and mortar situation, because it just prints out a sheet and you sign it, and it's not in PDF format. If you don't like the agenda, if you're the administrator and you created it, you can just click on this, on the delete button on this trash can, and it'll just go away. But the one that we're going to use right now is the pencil. And the pencil is going to allow us to get underneath this thing so that we can create an agenda. So we're saying agenda setup. So what is the date that we're going to use in order to create this agenda? Give me a second here. How do I mute this? I don't know how to do that. See, I don't know how, there's certain things I don't know how to do. But we're going to say that for the next meeting is going to be the 9th. And we're going to say that the meeting is it starts at noon. Okay, so we're going to say 12. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so 12 p.m.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. And here is where you can have your starting date times. We already done that. And then you can determine, you can have multiple calendars if you want. We're just going to leave this at club meeting. And then we can say where the menu, the meeting menu is. And this is optional. And if you want, you can actually put in there your Zoom, if you had a Zoom link, you can actually put it in here under the meeting venue. Did everybody see what I just did? No. Let me get out of this. I went under meeting venue, and this is an option. And see, we don't have any venue, so I'm going to add a venue, a Zoom link. So I clicked on that. And if you notice, I have 3 things. I could actually put in an address if there was one, and a telephone number, and any other notes I wish, or I can just put in the Zoom link here. And if this was a brick and mortar place, I could actually add an image in there of what the place looks like. Upload that, and away we go.
And the section above the meeting venue where you were, it says right there, create from template. So select an agenda template.
Yes, and these are you have 2. You have 2 of them. One is one for 1 hour or 2 hours. So which one do you want to go for?
Well, considering you started it at noon, I would suggest the 1 hour.
Okay, so we're going to go with the 1 hour. Okay, and it always does this, and I still have to this day don't know why does it do that, but I'm just going to say yes for now. And if you notice, it still puts back in the 12 a.m. I'm just going to go back and put in the 12 p.m. again. And now and it still has our September 9th. And so now I'm going to save it. I'm going to close this. And so now we have a 1 hour meeting. Now, you may have to change you may not like the order in which this is starting. So here, as you notice, you have here the president, he's going to call the meeting to over. Some people actually do have their president do that. And then it's followed by the Toastmaster. And then the Toastmaster may introduce the first speaker, or maybe the Toastmaster does something else. If you notice, the Toastmaster here is saying that he or she introduces the counter, grammarian, timer, and GE. Well, usually, I don't know about in your club, but the Toastmaster doesn't do that. That's usually held by, that role is usually held by the GE, by the general evaluator, is the individual that does that. Am I wrong? Am I too far off here? So I would, actually, take this guy and what is this? Toastmaster introduces first speaker, and then there's a Toastmaster. So what we can do, if you notice, we have here the general evaluator, where it says where this person actually completes the meeting evaluation. And you see that this person gets to introduce these people or ask them to give their reports. But we don't want the Toastmaster doing that. We want the Toastmaster to, talk about the theme of the meeting and anything else, but except for introducing the what the GE does. So what we can do is, we see that pencil again that we talked about. We can go underneath it and see. We can see now all of the roles as they were set up, right? And there's that Toastmaster who's going to introduce the odd counter, grammarian, timer, and the GE. Well, we can use another pencil that's next to this guy, the Toastmaster, and we can basically remove that. See how it says introduce so we can take that out because he's not supposed to do that. So we're going to say give 2-minute welcome. Welcome guests. And so now we're going to say introduce the GE. So now if we save this and see where it says right there, see how it says add, you can either add, edit, or the agenda. And by the way, we can say how much time that we're going to give this individual to do what they're going to do. And if I say 10 minutes, well, it just automatically calculates that. So it may say, okay, so when you scroll down, you may realize that you're, maybe 5 minutes overtime. So now you have to make adjustments within under FreeToastHost to resolve that. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to close it, and then the screen should jump. And then when it comes back, we should see now that it doesn't say that anymore. It comes back and it says we're give 2-minute welcome guest, and introduce the GE. Well, we can't introduce the GE according to this because why? Because we have the first speaker. So that means that we now need to add something in here so that the GE is being properly introduced. So what does that mean?
Edit. We need to edit the agenda.
Okay, so we're going to edit the agenda again. And this time we're going to have to go all the way to the bottom. And this is where we get to do the edit, because now we're going to add a wedge into the agenda. And so this one we're going to call okay, and so and did you see how I did that? By the way, you see how it dropped back and it gave us these selections underneath. Did everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so now you can see it's going to now tell me what the GE is going to do. And so in this case, it says here, introduce the speech evaluators. Okay, well, that's not quite exactly of what we want. We don't want them to introduce the speech evaluators yet. We want them to introduce the individuals that are on his team.
The role players?
That's right. So the speakers are not, again, that's in my club, that's not the individual's role. They don't do that. Somebody else does the intro. Hopefully I can get this out. Oh, I can't. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, so I can say now the introduce the meeting evaluators. And so we're going to have to give them more than 1 minute. You can't do that, right? So we're going to say we'll give them 3 minutes to actually do that. And I'm just picking that number out of the hat. It's more like 5 minutes. Alrighty. So now the one that we just added is down here at the bottom. So now we need to move that so that it sits right underneath the Toastmaster. So that means that we have to go back in again under edit. And then there's going to be a little arrow, if I remember correctly, right here. And so depending on where the wedge is, you can either go up or down. Does everyone see that? So what we're going to do is we're going to just continue to move this guy up until we get it to exactly where we want. And if you notice, you see that little yellow thing that comes up there. It's calculating as we are moving this guy up. So where's this guy? Oh. Okay, so this is the. Oh no, let's see, did I move the wrong one? No. That's certainly not one of the introduces these. Okay. Oh. Okay, so this is almost right. Move this down to rise. Okay, so now we have the presiding officer. The presiding officer calls the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster now calls the calls for the general evaluator, who's going to explain the role, introduces members. And then you would make the whatever other changes that you need to make to this agenda possible. And then once you get it the way that you want it, you should not have to do this again. And I'm gonna show you why. Oh, and the other thing I should say too is that you don't want to go crazy and start creating, this is your first one and you go off and you want to create a year's worth of these things. And I would not advise that. Just from personal experience, I found that if you do 1 or 2 weeks ahead, that's probably good enough, because you'll find that you'll have to continue to tweak it to get it exactly what you want. So you don't want a whole year's worth of those things, because the only thing you're going to wind up doing is just deleting all those anyway, because there's no way that you're going to personally modify every last 360 of these things. All right, so let's say you've already done through all of these, you've already made the changes through all of these guys, and so now you're set. So you want to go see this now through from your website. So this thing should disappear and it should pop up. And now the presiding officer calls, the Toastmaster now does its thing and then calls the GE. And this is exactly what we said we wanted to do, because we didn't think that the Toastmaster had any business creating, introducing the speakers. That's not what the Toastmaster should be doing, at least it's certainly not in the beginning. So I know that this is kind of a little complicated in doing this, but between this and the notes that I'm going to send you guys, I think you guys are going to be okay. But I also want you to know that I want you to feel free to call me in order to, if you have any questions. Alrighty, so now we have our agenda, and that's all said and done. So
Elton.
now yes.
Elton.
Yes, Kathy.
It's Kathy. I
No.
just wanted to say that you can also create a regular meeting a template and bring it out each time to start with. So you have it saved and whatever. And it's also good to put them out there for 6 months so that people can go and schedule their participation for the next 6 months. And then you still can update them when it comes to time, because you're still going to need a Toastmaster and a general evaluator and all these things anyway. So
Exactly right. And I'm only speaking from doing this several times. And
yeah.
this is why in the beginning, when you're doing this, I say create only a couple of them, because you'll find that as you're going through the meeting that, there's still something that's still not right on that agenda. It can be small, something just small. And so I know that when I first started doing this first time around, I thought I had the agenda correct. I created 2 months, and then I realized that, I had left out one of the speakers the individual who was handling the speech evaluator number 2. I left that out. So it was either A, go in on each of the agendas and put that in, or B, get rid of them and then put the information in and then quickly do this again. So while we're here, let me show you. This is how, if you were going to create another agenda, at the bottom of this guy, it says here, save as new agenda, right? So if I click on this, it's now giving me another agenda. It's giving me a second agenda. So I'm going to, save and close. So now how am I going to find this agenda? I'm going to go under here. And so if you notice now, both of them have the same time and the same date. So I need to change one of these, right? So I'm going to change that one. Again, I'm going to go back to what we talked about earlier, which is agenda setup. So in this case, since we said that this one was the 9th, the first one, then obviously the second one is going to be the 16th, right? 7 days later. And of course, we want the time to be the same. We're going to use the same same calendar. None of that's going to change. If we had a Zoom link, that would already be in there. And so that would, and that would not change either. And so at that point, we would just save this and then close it. And the screen should disappear and come back. And now when we look under this, we see now that we have 2. We have the 16th and now the 9th. So this is how you're able to create the second agenda. Now you can keep, you keep doing this, and you can create as many new agendas as you want. But in the beginning, the first 3 or 4 weeks, I would only create 1 or 2 at a time until you actually find that you're not having to make any changes. Second is you will have to come up with agendas for other events, right? You're going to sooner or later have to do that. So the other events would be open houses, speech-a-thons, contests. So all of these types of agendas need to be created under FreeToastHost. And then once they are created, see if I remember now. Oh yeah, while I'm here, you can also keep attendance. So if we had your club member names, oh, I can show you that. Club members names here, you can actually click to say whether or not they attended or not. So you can actually have a record of who showed up and who did not, which is very, very important when you are trying to keep track of individuals' progress. And people can't progress very well if they're not at the meeting. So let's see. Okay. One thing that you do, this is another thing that you need to do is to edit your profiles and your club email addresses. And it's not letting me in. Oh, because I am not a member. So all right, this is good. So I need to create a member, and that's me. So I'm going to show you how to do that. At the top here, where you have website settings, there are several settings underneath this guy. One of them happens to be membership management. And membership management is where you actually get to put someone's their information in here so that they're able to log in. This is a two-step process, because you have to fill in information here. There's an email that goes out to the person. The person has to click on the email to come back to the site, and then they're able to log in. So I'm going to show you how that works. This is brand new, so it won't hurt. Oh, when you see me turn my head like this, it's because I have a larger screen to look at. Never mind, Bruce.
I've got the same thing, Elton. I've got a large monitor on to my right and another large monitor to my left.
I know. I saw your setup. I have one word for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
It's envious. Okay, so I'm gonna save this guy because this is going to be my member contact information. So if you notice now, it's telling me that this is new contact information. It's telling me that it's going to send this email out, and I'm going to say, go ahead and send this thing. Close this. And now what should happen is I should be able to oh man. Okay, so so there should be an email that pops up here that allows me to now go back to the website, and after validating who I am. Too long, you're taking too long. I think everybody's on the internet. It's so slow, oh my God. And you see I have an email right here, and it says action required pending addition. So there you go. Here is my thing, and it says if I agree to contact my contact, to give my information, contact information to our website, then click here. If I click there, it's going to now allow me to connect to the it's going to allow me to connect to the website. I get one, see, now it says here, thank you. I've been connected to the Good Times Toastmasters Club's website. So I can now close this window. And I think okay, let's see if that's going to be good enough. I saw something pop in here. Oh. Oh my. Okay. All right, I'm going to give it the old try here, and let's see. I'm going to say save here, close here. And let's see if it's going to allow me to log in. I think so. So I didn't do that second step. Oh, okay. So see how I put it? I put in the first 4 characters and it just finished it. Did you notice that? No.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So now it doesn't, now notice it didn't say anything about passwords. It just said, you know, if you're going to let me take the information that you've given me, which is what, nothing but my name and my email address. That's all I've given this system. It's that's it. So if it said, if you give me this, then you can go ahead and log in. So we don't have a password. So I'm going to have to hit the authenticate button. And now what's going to happen is it's going to now tell me that it's going to send me an email with this other email that I now have to click. They're very sensitive here about making sure that your website is safe and that you do not have scrupulous individuals landing on your pages. So I'm just going to do a refresh here. And you notice we have now the good times. And so now it's saying here, do I want to access the club site as a member? I'm saying yes. Now it's asking me for a password. So I'm just going to, so if you notice now, it tells me that the passwords have to be at least 10 characters in length, and then it only contain numbers or letter or the following special characters. So I'm going to say, and I'll show you what I said. And if you notice, what I put in there is, I did use a $, which is a special character. You guys can see that, right? So these two shall match because I just did a cut and paste. And if I do a set password, now it comes back and says, hey, we've got a set password. And now I don't have to do anything else. I'm in. Pay no attention to RoboForm. And then, and so now I can just close this. I don't have to do anything else because I've already done that. So I'm going to close, and it says, welcome. Well, would you like to load your member profile? And I'm going to say, yeah, because that's the nice guy who I am. And here, this is where it already knows. Remember, I gave it initially my email address, and I also gave it my phone number. So here is when you can start giving this information to the website, but the website is giving the where you can give it information such as how long have you been a club member, your Toastmasters member ID. If you happen to have a monitor in your club, a mentor in your club, you can actually put that information in there as well. And you only want to check this button if you want, if you want to be wiped out of the system. So we're not even going to go there. Do that again, okay. All right. So now I should be able to, as a member, I can now bring up the agendas. Okay, so this would be for the month, this will be our meeting that's going to be on September 9th. If I want to be able to get to my second one, it would be on the 16th. The screen will disappear, and when it comes back, we're now at the one that's September 15th. And now, if you don't like what you see here, you can change it. Now, by the way, if you want to make minimal changes, let's say just for one night or one meeting, you can just make changes just for that one meeting based on what I showed you earlier. And then the following meeting would be set up as all the other meetings have been. So I don't want you to think that, let's say you created 20 meetings and then you realize at meeting 10, you're planning on having a table topics contest. That's okay. You just go to that week and you just make the changes. You're not locked into, once you create 40 of them, all of them must remain the same, because that's not the way Toastmasters clubs work. For the most part, we are a living, breathing entity. And because of that, they change. And we have spent 1 hour and 21 minutes to more or less to get this site to where it is now. Is it usable? You darn tootin', it's usable. As my mom would say, no one said it had to be perfect, but you want it to work. And what we've done is just the basics. And the basics are, we created the name of the club. We were able to put that in there. We put the meeting pseudo information in the link. Remember, I said meeting only by Zoom, and then I said we would have the Zoom link. The meeting count, the club calendar is there. And you can put in here, if you notice, we already have, for the 2 agendas that we created, it put them right back behind the other one. So if I wanted to see the club meeting for the 16th, it brings it right up, because it already knows that on that day you're going to have a meeting. Now, I have to admit that if you were going to, I don't know, you're going to have a speechathon on the whatever date that, a speechathon on the 29th, you can put the information in here, save it, or if you want to do this as a one-time or a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly to create an event. And again, all of this other stuff that I'm showing you now is not really important if you're trying to create this in an hour. Can I create this in an hour? Yes, I can create this in less than an hour. But I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay, so are there any questions that I can answer? Oh yes, and by the way, I'm willing to have another session. So this way, when you had gone off and you've been playing with it, and you've been looking at the video that you guys are going to have, and the documentation that I'm going to send you, and then if you go back and say, you know, I need him to, whatever that is, to show me, I am more than willing to put on another workshop. Or if you just have a couple of questions, all of you know what my email address is, and you can contact me in order to get me to show you the things that you need to know so that you can go ahead and use this. But I can guarantee you it's far easier to use FreeToastHost than it is EasySpeak. Am I saying anything bad about EasySpeak? Nope. It's just what it is. Yes, Deborah.
When you were creating the agenda, I think there's some place where you can click and make whatever agenda you created a template, and then it gets filed under a list of different templates. So you can make different templates. You could make one for a contest, and you could make one for for different styles of meetings, and then you would have a row of templates that you could go to when you wanted to plug in a particular meeting. If I'm not mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken. You're not mistaken. You're not mistaken at all. This is this one.
I always have trouble finding it when I'm looking for it. I know when I'm looking for it, it's in some odd place, but I think it's at the bottom of when you finish creating an agenda. I think it might be.
Well, see, I know. I mentioned. I do remember mentioning that, and it's
says
right
make,
here where you click to
then,
save.
there's some place that no, it says make this a template or something. But
Was it under the meeting description? At the bottom? Oh, no, too far. No, same thing.
See, it's not there.
there's some place, and I always have to hunt for it. But
It might
We
be
just-
when you
we
save
just-
it. When you save it, you can save it as a template.
Yes, and the thing is that now you see, now we have now that I'm a member, it will
Oh,
ask
yeah,
me if I attended, yes or no, or I mean I'm going to say whether or not I attend, yes or no. But the others.
yeah, that only shows up. The attendance only shows up for the administrator, though. But if you, as a member, want to, then there's a place at the top of the agenda for you to click
For you to do that.
your attendance.
What did we just used it. We just used it because that's how we created.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Save this agenda as agenda template.
As template, okay.
Yeah.
And here's the name.
And then you name the template.
That's right. So let's name this one Dale. This is a weekly. Is everyone okay with calling it weekly? Okay, so now we've saved this. We've saved the template, right? So
yeah, and then there's some sub tab.
And so now there it is. So now if we wanted to use this agenda, we can, this weekly agenda, we can pop it in there. Or if we wanted to use another agenda that we had created for table topics contest or an international speech contest, then you can actually create it there and have that template saved in there. And then when you would need this template, you would come back to a meeting agenda setup, click on this guy, and then bring up the template that you wish to use. Thank you very much. That's a very good thing, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. Does anybody else have any tidbits of information that you wish to share? I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I'm all for hearing what everybody has to say.
I have a question, Elton.
Oh, no, I said, no, I want tidbits of information. I want good stuff. I don't want any questions. No, I'm only joking, Kathy.
Deborah.
Oh,
my question has to do with the roles, because I know when I was setting up an agenda, if I put in certain roles, then what I'd like to be able to do is say, if I have, like, say you have the chair or the Toastmaster in 4 different places, but you only want the tab for sign up in one. You don't want them have to click 4 different places. So there's something that you do, I think, so that it fills in the other spots automatically.
Yes.
And I don't know if asterisks is around the name or something.
No, you know what it is. Okay, so let's say this is Toastmaster, right? And so when you're doing some of these guys, I find that you can't put anything here. So if you say Toastmaster and the person signs right here, sign up is right there. So I'm gonna, okay, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna say me. I'm gonna sign up as the Toastmaster. So if you notice right here, it says Toastmaster introduces the GE. And so it already put my name there to that, saying that I'm going to introduce the GE because I'm the Toastmaster. So the Toastmaster is going to introduce the GE, which I'm going to do. And the GE is going to explain the roles and whatever else that the GE is going to do. Now, oh, this is weird. Okay, so when I do this, okay, so let's say for an example, this is the GE, I'm not the GE, so I'm going to go in now and alter one thing.
What I noticed what was missing was the sign up role for general evaluator.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here, grab the general evaluator, and I'm going to, I think if I just take out this Toastmaster part and just leave the GE part there. Okay, so see, now the GE, it doesn't come back with saying that it's me.
Right. But how does one sign up for the GE since it doesn't?
Okay, so now you have to, only you would ask this, Bruce. Brian. Oh my God, here we go again. Bruce.
Yes,
yes,
yes, Elton John.
Okay, so if you notice here, it says here, this role should appear on the agenda, which is what we want. And the person assigned to this role can edit this meeting agenda. Mm-hmm. But then we also want to click this one here, which is this role for which members can sign up.
Okay.
So now I think if we save this, it should now come back and say, it should have the little square beside the general evaluator name, please. And there it is.
Yes.
So now, if you want somebody for the general evaluator to sign up, it does. But I know, and this is what you have to do for all of them. If they, like here it says Toastmaster introduces the first speaker, you would just have to have speaker number 1. And then down here in the comments, you would say what the Toastmaster has to do. And this way, this keeps it from wanting to put the same person's name in there, which is what we don't want to do. So think of, in this case, think of the word Toastmaster as a variable. And so whatever name you give it, in this case, it was mine. And so now anywhere where you see Toastmaster, it just puts my name in there because it's a variable. And so whatever you put in there, it's as the first person, it's going to whirl it down. But if you notice, as soon as we took out this whole thing about Toastmaster introduces the general evaluator and just left the general evaluator and said that the Toastmaster is going to introduce the GE, and then the GE comes into play.
Right.